And what are we going to hear? Are we going to hear like birds chirping, or what are the sounds that you're hoping to capture?
We're hoping to capture just the way that sound bounces around a forest, sort of the same way sound might bounce around a cathedral and echo and reverberate. We're trying to do the same thing with music all around us in this environment.
So thank you so much for welcoming me here. This place is so awesome. So you're here in residency, working on your second album, but I kind of want to start at the beginning. So can you tell me about what it is that fascinates you so much about making music in the forest or with the forest?
Yeah, music has always just been a way to talk about what's important to me, like any other medium. And to make music that speaks about this place, it only makes sense that they interact a little bit with each other. Hearing familiar sounds like music in an environment like this kind of reveals a little bit about both that environment and those sounds. So this project in some ways is to capture the sound of the space, both kind of literally and then also the sound of what this place feels like in a more musical sense. Like a documentary filmmaker might try to preserve a space. I guess I'm trying to do the same thing because I think these places are worth preservation.
So you're preserving the sound of a place in a way. Would that make sense?
And like feeling, I hope.
Okay.
How it feels to me.
What about this is going to sound different from if it was recorded in a studio or if it was recorded in a concert hall? How is it going to sound different for me?
The concert hall analogy is actually a really good one. When you go into a nice cathedral and you hear a classical concert or something, you have the instruments and then you also have the space that's echoing. For me, the instruments are the speakers because they're playing back the music that I've already arranged. And the hall is the forest. And it's going to be a lot more subtle and maybe a little bit more subconscious than something as lush as a cathedral. But hopefully it will sound to you like it sounds when you're out there on your own anyway.
Can you talk a little bit about how this process has affected your own relationship with nature?
Yeah, I had to do quite a bit of research. I've talked to Parks Canada and acoustic ecologists and a bunch of people who are familiar with the area just to make sure what I am doing here isn't damaging. And I learned a lot about this place, not the least of which is how heavily this particular place is being affected by a changing climate and other environmental factors. And it seems more urgent to me, this record, than the last one, because of that.
Okay, so you have a speaker here, over there. Okay, so this looks incredible. Tell me about the setup that you've done.
Yeah, it looks complicated, but it's pretty simple. We just have a ton of speakers around us.
In a circle.
In a circle.
Yeah.
To surround us with sound. And then we have one microphone for every speaker, of which there are 7. And then 4 microphones sort of picking up what's happening in the air when all these sounds kind of bounce around the trees and hit each other and echo around.
Okay, and then when you do this setup, how long will you stay in the forest recording? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah, not too long. Okay. We're confined by battery power and daylight mostly. Dusk and dawn are not extremely safe times in the Rockies, so we have to do our hours-long setup at daybreak, record as much as we can, or as much as our battery allows, and tear down all before nightfall.
Right. Have you ever had any scary or almost scary encounters?
No, other than a raccoon that I thought was a bear. It's been pretty tame.
Okay,
yeah.
cool. Shall we begin?
Yeah, let's.
Okay.
My friend's just gonna hit play and we'll have a listen.
Okay, great, cool.
the way this place feels to me is so important, and these places are so important to me, and they are really threatened. And I think documenting not only how they actually are, if that's even possible, but how they feel to us is really important, in case that isn't something that can be experienced again.